Title of the first section today is Graphing a Parabola. First equation is y equals x squared. Anytime we graph a new equation, we can use a t-table for x and y. The best numbers for x to use are -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. This will give us a few negative numbers, a few positive numbers, and also the point in the middle of the graph. Filling out the t-table, we'll take each number to the second power, or each number squared. So -2 squared is -2 times itself. -2 times -2 would be +4. -1 squared, -1 times -1 would be +1. 0 squared would be 0 times 0. 1 squared would be 1 times 1. And 2 squared would be 2 times 2. Graphing these points, our biggest y value is 4, so we can go 4 spots in each direction. The x-axis again goes left and right. The y-axis goes up and down. First point, -2, 4. -2 is 2 spots to the left. +4 is 4 spots up. Next point, -1, 1. -1 is 1 spot to the left and 1 spot up. 0, 0 is at the origin or the middle of the graph. 1, 1 will be to the right 1 and up 1. And 2, 4, +2, and up to 4. 5 spots, it makes a U shape, which is also known as a parabola shape. So we can connect those, and we'll put arrows out at the end because the graph will keep rising on both sides. Next question and final graph for this section is f parentheses x. Also read out loud as f of x. It's a fancy term for y. And the equation is -1/2 x squared. Same steps we had before. We'll do a t-table. X and y. Y again is the same thing as f parentheses x. And we'll use the same numbers, -2 down to +2. This time when we plug the numbers in, we'll square the numbers first, and then we're also going to multiply by -1/2, or take half the number and then make it negative. So -2 squared, -2 times -2 would be +4. Half of that 4 would be 2, and we're multiplying by negative, so it would be -2. Plugging a -1 in, -1 squared, -1 times -1 is +1. Taking half of 1, it's 1/2, and you make it negative, so it'd be -1/2. 0 squared would be 0. Half of 0 is still 0, and -0 would still be 0. 1 squared would be 1. Half of 1 would be 1/2. Negative makes it -1/2. And last number, 2 squared. 2 squared would be 4. Half of 4 would be 2, and negative outside makes it -2. What you'll notice on parabolas is we'll have the same y value for a couple points, and that's what makes the parabola or U shape. Graphing this one, we have 2's and -2's, so we can go 2 in each direction. We'll graph all 5 points, and it should make a parabola shape. -2, -2. X is -2 and y is -2. -1 and -1/2. -1 is to the left. -1/2 is halfway between 0 and -1. 0, 0 again would be right in the middle. 1 and -1/2. And 2, -2. This time again, all 5 points make a U shape or parabola shape. This time the parabola is upside down. It opens down to the bottom. And the reason for that is if you have a negative number in front, that flips all the points down to negative. For the next two problems, we're going to identify the vertex and state the minimum and maximum. The vertex is the point where the graph turns around, and a minimum means it has a lowest point, and a maximum means it has a highest point. If you look at the first graph, we can find the vertex. Again, the vertex is the point on top of this graph where the parabola turns upside down. And we'll list the point as a xy comma point. This point is 2 spots to the right and 4 spots up. So the point of the vertex would be 2, 4. For a minimum or maximum, minimum means it has a lowest point, maximum means it has a highest point. This graph goes up to the top and then turns back down. So it goes up to the highest point possible, which would be a maximum. So our vertex for the first graph would be 2, 4, and this parabola has a maximum point, which is the vertex. Second question, same thing, we can find the vertex of the graph given. The vertex again is the point where the graph turns around. In this case, it would be on the bottom of the graph. This point is 2 spots to the left and on the y-axis. That point would be -2, and the y value would be 0. For a maximum or minimum, this graph goes down to the bottom and then curves back to the top. So it goes to a lowest point. The lowest point is also a minimum. So the vertex of this graph, -2, 0, and it has a minimum value or lowest point.